Okay. All right, good evening. I certainly hope all is well tonight. We're gonna do something a little different tonight. Hold on, I didn't expect people to come on so quick. Okay. All right, so tonight, okay, I'm gonna talk about East Cleveland. Okay, I'm here in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, some of you who are watching who are from Cleveland, you know, East Cleveland. East Cleveland is a suburb in the city of Cleveland. It is a suburb in the city of Cleveland on the east side of Cleveland. Okay, it is not, when you say the east side of Cleveland, you're not referring to East Cleveland. Okay, though it is once again a suburb on the east side of Cleveland. All right. Now, for people who are not from here, you hear East Cleveland, you will automatically think the east side of Cleveland. No, okay, it's a suburb. Okay, on the east side of Cleveland. Okay. Typically, when you think suburb, you think of a nice, clean community. Okay, it was, but it's not now. All right, now, me, when they brought me here, for those of you who've been watching my story, okay, the family, my dad and his wife, woman I say the lady who raised me, lived in East Cleveland. Okay, um, I believe the house that they lived in was on 131st. Okay, off Shaw. But I don't remember being in that house because I was an infant. Okay, Then we moved to a street called Plymouth, which is off Shaw. Okay. Shaw is a street that runs off of Euclid. Euclid is a street that, I mean, like it runs miles and miles through the city. All right. I don't know how long it is, but it's pretty far. Okay. All the way from down, stretches all the way from downtown to like far east. Okay. But anyway, so that was I was born 1972. So I would imagine that they moved into the house. We moved into the house on Plymouth, off Shaw in East Cleveland in 1973. Because I think she told me that I was like 1 when we moved there. Okay. All right. East Cleveland, small suburb. I'm going to just read real quick. Really, really quick. Okay. I didn't look this up. Okay. I don't know what moon it is, what phase it is, but I have a person that's been doing her work on me not all day. When did she start? She probably started at about 2:30, 3 o'clock. She might have started earlier, but that's when I started feeling it. And she's been going in there since I called her name out. She was all up in my room. I saw her and told her to get out. You know. Yeah, she continues on. All right. So anyway, so I was. It's so funny because I was just listening to a reading. Somebody I don't normally watch. Every blue moon I watch, but I watched her today because she kept coming across my feed, and I kept seeing her. Well, not just today. It's been a couple of days, and today I was like, let me see what she's talking about. So I watched the reading that she did yesterday, and what did she say? She said Tuesday these people gonna be trying to do something to you. The reading she did was, I think, yes, that I was watching was from yesterday. She was like, they gonna be trying to do something to you on Tuesday. Anyway, let's keep going here. Sometimes it just makes you wonder, like, you keep doing the same shit over and over again. You've been doing this shit for years. It's like, how does it feel to be on I want to say like on a losing team? How does that feel? To just keep constantly doing the same shit over and over and over again for years, trying to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish that you ain't got no business trying to accomplish, and keep failing. How does that feel? I can only imagine. That's all I can do with that. Okay. Now, I'm going to read this to you about East Cleveland. Okay. Some of you all might not be interested in this. But, like, I did a reading on Cleveland in general. Like, I noticed all the... when did I do this? I think I did that like maybe in the spring or something like that. I know, y'all know, look, I'm getting hot. I'm always hot and sexy, but I'm getting hot. Let me, I'm cute, hot, and sexy. Let me turn this air on. All right. But I also did one on the statues that are, I forget what they're called. Okay, off the top of my head. I did a live. I think I did that live. I think I was on for almost 2 hours. As I was doing the live, I believe it ran all the way through, but afterwards they cut it short to like 5 minutes. I said, okay, I guess I said something they didn't want out. Shh, bitch. Okay, but anyway. All right, so. Oh, and I said I was going to talk about this. As far as the watch hours and stuff, I was talking about recently. They did get back to me and pretty much said the same thing. Pretty much said the same thing that the first person was saying to me. So, hey. But I noticed after that the watch hours just magically increased. Okay? But the number of views magically went down. They're like, bitch, you can have one or the other, bitch. Can't have both of them. All right? But anyway, let me get to this here. Okay, so... I'm doing this because I just think it's interesting and I can, So I'll just tell you my memories of it growing up there. Not what it is now. Okay. Growing up there, I think if my memory serves me correctly, the lady who raised me told me that we were one of the first black families that moved on that street. Not the first, but one of the first. Okay, so or it wasn't too many black families on the street. Very small community, very small. I had a lot of fun. My house, the street that I lived on Plymouth, was a dead end street. Okay, I kind of mentioned this before. My house was the last house going down the street to the left. And then across from there are apartment buildings. Really, really, I mean, Cleveland has got some very interesting, sometimes I just take drives, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, this is an interesting place. Cleveland's a very interesting city. You gonna find every kind of house imaginable. You know, the brownstones, the the what they call those houses that stuck together, like in DC. I forget what they called. Which I felt like I had never seen that until I went to DC, and then it's like, but they're all over the place here, but they're not like in DC. Like that's pretty much, at least the section that I was in. That's all you see. But it is just some of every kind of house you can think of in Cleveland. The architecture here is like the old shit. The old art. It's just fucking amazing. They really gave Cleveland a bad rap at one point in time, and it's just stuck ever since. Okay, but some of the stuff, the way things are laid out, and the infrastructure and whatnot, it's just amazing. But at this, and I have talked to people who are not from here, but who live in some beautiful places, and they come here and they're like, it's just such a beautiful city here. I mean, and I'm like, well, you think so? You know what I'm saying? Based off of where you're coming from, they're like, it is. We got the lake. I remember at one point I told Lady Raised Me, I was like, I was dying to move. I wanted to live by the water. I meant the ocean. I said, I don't live by the water. She was like, you do live by the water. Like Lake Erie was right up the street. You know what I'm saying? And I love to go there. But anyway, I haven't really gone like I used to, because I used to like live really close there. But nevertheless, but just being on the freeway, driving past and looking at all that water is just so beautiful. Um, but anyway, back to what I was saying. So growing up, so the street, then it was an apartment building, and it went around. Okay, it didn't stop there where the apartments. No, you got to the apartments. The street like went around, and it went around this way, more apartments, and then curved back that way, and then that's where it ended. Railroad track, behind us. Okay, go up the hill. I just remember when I was little, just going in the backyard. We had a small backyard, but when you little, everything is big to you. So small backyard, and behind the garage and everything, there was more field and whatnot, grass and whatnot, up to the railroad track. I remember one time when I was small, kids, especially back then when kids was out playing outside. This is in the 70s. Okay, going up close to the railroad track, but that wasn't something that I did often, but I know people did. Okay, but anyway, or up there. Okay, but anyway, I loved that house. I loved growing up in that house. Love being on the street. It's like this was a time where like everybody knew everybody. On the street, playing on the street, having a good time and whatnot. It was so funny. One time I remember we were all the way at the first house, okay, on the left side. All the kids was up there. It was just the way that house was. The house didn't really sit on that street. The front of the house set on the cross street, which was Shaw, and the backyard was like on Plymouth. And we were all, a whole bunch of kids, we were all up there in that backyard playing and whatnot. And it was like from house to house. Nikki, your mother wants you. Nikki, your mother wants you. Nikki, your mother wants you. And I was a little tiny little thing that finally got to me, and I just looked and I just went running. So I was like the littlest one, okay, on that particular day. We grew up. I stayed in that house until I was 11 and a half, and then we moved, and I hated to move, but we did. But anyway, then you had the Pick and Pay, the grocery store. It was just a nice community. Shaw High School, you had the black-owned funeral home, the post office. This was just in my little section of East Cleveland. Lady who raised me, her brother and his wife, and their uh, daughter, because I'm pretty sure they moved out of East Cleveland when she was little. They lived in East Cleveland. My grandparents lived right outside of East Cleveland. My babysitters that I talked about, they lived in East Cleveland, off Hayden. Um, I remember the one store, they turned it into a Silverman's, but before that, I can't remember, some kind of horrible store my grandma used to go to all the time. But anyway, it was a very nice community. But I only remember, because as I was getting older, only seeing black people for the most part. Um, I do remember always seeing there was a man and this white guy in his house. He owned a skunk, so I remember seeing him, and I thought it was unusual as a kid to see this white man in this black neighborhood, not knowing the history of East Cleveland. Okay, now so let me just read this really quick. Y'all don't go nowhere. Just stay with me. Okay, East Cleveland began as a township. I just okay. Let me stop because my thoughts be jumping. East Cleveland began as a township organized in 1845. Um, from I want to make sure I'm reading it right. East Cleveland. You know, it might be another one somewhere. Okay, I believe so. Yeah. Okay, there it is. All right. Began as a township, organized in 1845 from parts of surrounding townships, and was incorporated as a village in 1895 and a city in 1911. Okay. Initially settled by farmers and later developing into a prominent suburb. Hold that word in your head. Prominent. Okay. Suburb with you can find videos on it here on YouTube. Okay. With residential, industrial, and parkland areas like Neela Park and Forest Hill Park. I have talked about Forest Hill Park. I mean, literally a forest in the middle of the city. Okay. It underwent a significant demographic shift from predominantly white, okay, to predominantly African American from the 1960s to the 1980s. Now you know how it go. Don't nobody get mad, okay? It's so funny. My daughter's father, he's a funny person, okay? And one time he said, you know how white people do, honey? They'll run and tear down a mountain and start a whole city just to get away from black folks, okay? My lady who raised me told me that, okay, my babysitters, she worked with their mother. They were nurses at Huron Road Hospital, which was in East Cleveland. This was before Cleveland Clinic bought it. And they done tore it down and everything, but they worked together. Okay, she was looking. I don't know who was. If my mother was, I said my mother. Lady who raised me. I don't know if she was looking for a place or what, but they went to some apartments in East Cleveland. She showed me these apartments, and when she showed me these apartments, I was like over there because it's East Cleveland's totally destroyed. Okay, but anyway, and so they. This is when it was predominantly white, and they were, the lady said, "Well, we don't rent to coloreds." You understand what I'm saying? And now this is that time period, okay? So the lady, Mama, that's what we called her, my babysitter's mother, Mama, because they called her Mama, so we called her Mama. She said to them, "Oh, you will, okay? One day you will," and okay. So of course, if my family, when she was telling me that, was one of the first to be moved on that street, one of the first black families to move on that street. But I was one. By the time I can remember, I don't remember seeing no white faces on that street. I'm not saying there weren't any. I do remember there was one family across the street at one point, but I don't remember them being there, till I was 11. I'll put it that way. All right. Anyway, you know, white flight. Okay. There is a high rise on Superior Hill, okay, which is still East Cleveland, where at during this time when predominantly white people lived there, people that lived there were like people with money, like the professional athletes, the city's professional athletes, the newscasters and shit like that, okay? As a matter of fact, in the penthouse, there was a white man, a Jewish man who lived up there for years, all the way through my teenage years, because he said he wasn't going to leave. He refused to leave because he said that was his home. I'm definitely sure he's not there now. Okay, but anyway, and I'm only saying because he probably has died. The racial transition, coupled with the loss of businesses, led to economic decline and poverty by the start of the 21st century. It's really bad. So that is where you had parts of, I believe, no, I don't believe, I know, Millionaires Row. And come to find, I thought Cleveland was the only place that had a Millionaires Row. There are other cities that have Millionaires Row, but I found out that Cleveland was the first city to have the Millionaires Row. Cleveland's got some really, really, really rich history. I feel kind of secretive shit, but really rich history. Okay. Now, if I grew up through there, so driving down the street, looking at the buildings, I didn't think anything of it until I learned about Millionaires Row, and then I began to look, and I was like, oh shit, these are mansions. Okay, some of of course, a lot of them are gone, but these are mansions. It's like, yeah, just gotta, they turn them into other things. All right. My lady who raised me, her brother, he owned some. He was a own beauty salon, a Kia salon. So, um, always in East Cleveland. He lived in East Cleveland. Their other brother lived in East Cleveland until they moved to Shaker. Okay, after his wife died. Okay, it was just, it felt like a nice community. I remember the East Cleveland Parade. Oh, I used to love. It was always so fun. I used to love going to the East Cleveland Parade. Let me continue on. Early history and settlement. Early settlers. The area was settled as early as 1801 by farmers with Scottish immigrants like the Shaw, McIlrath. McIlrath. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And Eddy families, later establishing communities, which is interesting because we have an Eddy Road, and I wonder if that's connected to that. But Eddy Road is not a part of East Cleveland. East Cleveland Township. East Cleveland Township was organized in 1845 from parts of other townships and underwent boundary reductions due to annexations by the city of Cleveland. Okay, this is my first time reading this. All right, there's not on here. Incorporation. An earlier village of the same name was formed in 1866, but was annexed by Cleveland in 1872. The later, the latter incorporated the later incorporated city was founded as a village in 1895 and became a city in 1911. Development and notable landmarks. Growth. The city grew rapidly as a suburb, aided by the advent of the streetcar. It twice rejected attempts by the city of Cleveland to annex it in the 1910s. Okay. Nela Park. The world's first industrial park, Nela Park, was built in East Cleveland between 1911 and 1921 and became the headquarters for General Electric's lighting division. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1975. For anybody that is from here or you live here now or you're familiar with Hathaway Brown is a prominent all-girl private school. I was interviewed there last year for subbing. And of course, Lady took me. It's in Shaker Heights. Lady took me around and showed me. Oh my God, beautiful place. I wanted to go there so bad when I was in high school, but I don't think back then they didn't do no vouchers and shit like that like they do nowadays. And oh my God, it's just honey. But anyway, I did go there for summer school. Okay, I got a D in math. Okay, bitch, you gotta go to summer school. So I went there, okay. But anyway, hey, that was close enough, okay, for me. But anyway, come to find out, as she was showing me around and telling me the history of the school, the lady over HR, Hathaway Brown used to be, that's where it started in East Cleveland. I said, East Cleveland? Wow. She said, yeah. Okay. But anyway, Forest Hill Park, oil magnet, here we go. John D. Rockefeller donated his former summer estate to become Forest Hill Park. Isn't that something? Okay. Which is now shared with the neighboring Cleveland Heights. So I believe his home was, I think it was a summer home, or is it a summer estate? Okay. Was in East Cleveland. Okay. Okay. Now, Forest Hill, it's a huge park. Okay, it's shared by East Cleveland and Cleveland Heights. Okay, you got your Cleveland Heights side, you got your East Cleveland side. Okay, so of course, growing up, we used to go to the park. You know what I'm saying? Both sides. All right. I sometimes, you walk in the summertime. This is 2 years back. Okay, and I would walk through the forest part. There's a path that connects East Cleveland and Cleveland Heights. So I would walk the path, through it's literally like through the forest. But it's sometimes I love history. I just love history. Okay. So sometimes it's kind of disheartening. It would be disheartening for me because you could see where all the picnic tables were, where the things they have, the little grills and stuff they have, and it's like, oh, man, all of this is just covered over. Like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? But they had the signs. to John D. Rockefeller's house. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you could walk the path there. Okay. All right, let's keep on going. And it's just like when I see stuff like that, and I'm like, what happened? What happened? Okay, then everything is just covered over. It's no more. All right, let me keep on going here. All right. Okay, I talked about the racial transition. Okay, present. Oh, no, economic decline. Did I read that? Oh, okay. Demographic shifts and economic changes. Racial transition. From the 1960s to the 1980s, East Cleveland transformed from a predominantly white suburb to a predominantly African American one. This change was driven by factors including racial desegregation and the flight of, it's going to say non-black residents. You know how you all these new words y'all got. I said, I don't like these new words. Okay. The white folk left. That's not a put down. I ain't being racist, and that's just what it was. We just want to make it softer. No, it is what it is. Let's make it what it is. The white flight. That's what they used to call it. White flight. That's what it is. Okay? Non-black residents. What other residents was there? Economic decline. This population shift was accompanied by a significant loss of capital and businesses, of course. By the start of the 21st century, East Cleveland was one of Cleveland's poorest suburbs. I'm not quite sure. I think it was even ranked at one point as one of the most dangerous suburbs in the country. I think at one point, but I'm not quite sure. Okay. Huron Hospital. At one time, Huron Hospital was a major healthcare facility and the city's largest employer. Not for Cleveland, but East Cleveland, okay? Serving as a level 2 trauma center. So when they shut it down, it was like a big deal, all right? Present day. In recent years, some key employers such as GE Lighting have scaled back their operations in the city. GE Lighting is East Cleveland, but it's borders. So you got parts of East Cleveland that border Cleveland and parts that border Cleveland Heights. All right. And where GE is, I believe that borders Cleveland Heights. Okay. I made a video on time. I think I put it on this channel, a short, maybe a couple of years ago, where they always have these beautiful Christmas lights. Every year growing up, that was just a big deal. Let's go see the GE and see the Christmas lights. Okay. And they still, I don't know about last year, but as far as I know, they still do it. Okay, governance, women's suffrage. In 1916, East Cleveland became one of the first cities east of the Mississippi River to adopt a charter that included provisions for women's suffrage in municipal elections. Public Library. The East Cleveland Public Library opened in 1916 with land donated by John D. Rockefeller and a donation from Andrew Carnegie. All right. Hold on, I'm getting cold. Done got cold. All right, let's keep on going. All right, so that's all I'm going to read. There's I'm looking at Case Western Reserve University, which is here. Has an encyclopedia of Cleveland history. They got a section for East Cleveland. Now there was a tour here. It used to be here. It's closed down. I found out recently, called the Lolly the Trolley tour. You can take various tours about the city of Cleveland. So I did. I think I took 2 or 3. I took it 3 times. I took 2. Okay. 2 of them were the same one. What happened was I took this one on my own, and then I never talked about it, but I went to Cleveland State for a very short period of time. And I was studying. Did I talk about this? What was it? It was an MBA program. EMBA, Executive Masters of Business Administration program, which I should have finished. I said, I'll talk about that one day. Okay. But nevertheless, I only went for a semester. I started the second semester, but I didn't finish it. Okay. But I should. But anyway, so for our orientation, that was one thing we did. And that tour was one of the tours that I had already taken. Then I took a separate tour. So I took 2 different kinds. So as we're going down Euclid, okay, from downtown, okay, you're going down Euclid, which is going to take you into East Cleveland. They stopped at, I believe, right before Lakeview Cemetery. Okay, which Lakeview Cemetery is a very popular cemetery. They got tours and all kind of stuff going on in there. That's where the Rockefellers are buried, and all kind of beautiful stuff going on. I've never taken a tour there. Okay, it's just like, how you live in the city and they got all these wonderful things to do, and people, tourists come and they do all that shit, but the people that live there don't. I'm one of those kind of people. I've never even been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. My daughter's just like, I cannot believe. I talk about this, that you have not. I just haven't. I've been to the Science Center because when she was little, my daughter, I had her in the program at the Science Center. Okay. I think I even went one time with a school for when what was it? They take they go on their field trips, okay? It's just like, okay, you be wanting to leave, go all these other places, see all this other shit. See what's where you at. Okay, I'm going to do it, all right. But anyway, um, so I think it stopped at Lakeview Cemetery, and I just sat there. I smiled. I said to myself, I wonder, are they going to go all the way into East Cleveland to show where they talked about Millionaires Row, but they stopped at that point. Hell no, they ain't going through there. It's dangerous than a motherfucker. They don't want the tourists to see, the poverty. Okay, and they turned around. Okay, and went back another way. All right. So the other day, I drive through there. I'm talking about my grandmother's house, which is in Glenville, which the street that I talked about, 131st, where they lived, my family lived when I was an infant. One street over from there, or maybe two streets, is Cleveland. Okay, and we lived like that house is like one street over. Okay, it's not parallel, but okay. Um, from there. Okay. So anyway, so I used to have to go through East Cleveland a lot. Okay, but I didn't like going through all the East Cleveland and shit. Okay, so sometimes, there are still parts of East Cleveland, and I'm not talking about what borders Cleveland Heights, because I used to hear people say, borders Cleveland Heights, so they can't just let all of this area that borders Cleveland Heights be slum. Cleveland Heights is, I say, the ghettos of Cleveland Heights, but it's a suburb. It's a nice suburb, okay, for the most part. Okay, but anyway, what am I trying to say here? Oh, so I used to have to go through, but I didn't go through all of East Cleveland. Okay, this is when I lived in my grandmother's house as an adult. But sometimes, like, I take drives, and there are not the part that borders Cleveland Heights, but East Cleveland. Okay, down the hill. Okay, um, there are still some nice streets. Okay, I have been on streets that are the houses are still nice and upkept. They probably may have a street club or something like that, but the potholes, it's like, literally it feels like you're driving through a war zone, like just grenades just went out, pow pow pow. Okay, then you had some where the streets are decent, but the homes are falling apart, the houses are falling apart. Then you have there was you have Terrace, which is a street. I think it's Road, maybe Terrace Road. Okay, but then I don't know if it's called Terrace. I know it's not called Terrace Street. Maybe Terrace Road. I'm not sure. Where not all of Terrace is like this, but where Human Road Hospital was, then okay, on Terrace there are a lot of apartment buildings. Okay, and these were prominent apartment buildings. I remember even as a teenager, a lady that I knew that from my grandmother's church, we went to visit her. Her apartment that she lived in was Terrace and Noble, so it was further down. Okay, nice. It was still nice back then. All right, we're not talking about permanent, but we're nice. Okay. Um, so across the street from Urinal Hospital, the hospital is just gone now. It's not there. They tore it all down. Okay, and this is since my daughter even has been living. Okay, there was an apartment building. Okay, a high-rise apartment building that they had to literally block the street off because when they got rid of that hospital. Okay, I'm not sure when that apartment building was shut down. I don't know. I can't remember because I didn't focus on it. I just remember the hospital, okay, when they tore that down. But anyway, of course, there's nobody in the apartment building now. You know. It might be some alive, unalive folk in the bottom. But anyway, um, it just looks, before they block the street off, sometimes I would have to drive down and I would try to avoid it the best way that I could. And one time I just drove through because I wanted to look and my mouth was hanging open. This was before they blocked it off. It was just like, I just could not believe, you know, what happened, what I was driving. I'm like, there's nothing but holes on this street. Nothing. It looks like a fucking war zone through here. Okay. Um, of course, this political stuff that all goes into this, and that I definitely cannot speak to because I don't know. Now you go to the other side of Terrace, on the other side of Superior Hill. You go down some of them streets, some of them houses, god damn, fucking beautiful. Now this girl that I talk about, that I say be astral projecting, that be smelling up the whole earth. It's like, you stink. She lived in one of those houses. So, I mean, the house is fucking beautiful. All the woodwork. I mean, just impeccable. The way they make buildings and houses today, like my grandmother said, all that plywood. Back then they used some real raw wood and brick and, strong ass materials. These houses be hundreds of years old. Okay, these buildings, they built in the 1817. Okay, and the motherfucker's still standing, where some of this new shit, that ain't gonna fucking happen. Okay, give it about 20, 30, maybe 50 years. The shit is going, give it a strong wind. Okay, the shit is gonna be down, all right? But they want you to pay a whole lot for the shit. But anyway, some of those houses are fucking beautiful. I knew this girl in elementary school. Okay, me and her had the same exact birthday. Rena LaRue, okay, she has transitioned, okay, years ago now, but her family lived in one of those houses, big, beautiful houses over there, okay. So, nevertheless, sometimes I drive through there and I just block it, you know, because I can't start ruminating shit about what used to be all the goddamn time, okay. There used to be on Euclid this place called Jack's Donuts. Okay, I believe it was a lot of maybe Italians who lived in the area. I think, but I believe the owners were Italian. A husband, wife couple, and they make them donuts fresh, baby, right then and there. You get them goddamn donuts. If they put it in that little brown paper bag, it was just straight grease, like you had some fried chicken wings in there. Something. The shit was so good. Okay, we used to go every Sunday. Okay, did we go before Sunday school? After, I can't remember. We went and got some donuts. Okay, yeah, Angela Mia Pizza up the street, best motherfucking pizza. I ain't never tasted any pizza as good as Angela. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. And they may still be open, but they don't. The original Pete family, they don't own it anymore. They sold it. I think they still kept the same recipe, but I don't know who owns it now, and I don't know what it's like now. But I don't give a damn what nobody says. Best pizza ever, fucking ever. Okay, but anyway. I'm trying to think of what else. There was Bob's Big Boy. Now that particular Bob's Big Boy that was on Euclid, it was not far, maybe a block or two up from Noble. It was the training center, okay, for Bob's Big Boy, for the servers and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, just a lot going on, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more that I can't even. I can tell you about all the little places we used to go. Excuse me. When I was a kid, what it felt like to me. But nevertheless, the other day, so I'm driving through and I'm on Terrace. Okay. Now, this is a part where it wasn't destroyed. I remember as a kid, we used to go to Shaw to go swimming. The swimming pool isn't even... Because I talked to someone recently that they worked there, was a student or something, and I said something about the swimming pool, and it was like, it used to be a swimming pool there? I don't even have swimming. Because back in the day, when you went to public school, that was something that a class you had to take. You had to know how to swim before you graduated, okay? And I was talking to someone who worked there. I said, well, what's the population of students here now? And he was like 300. I was like, oh, 300. Okay. They did add on to the school and, made it look nice and pretty and whatnot. But anyway, so I'm on Terrace. And I'm just looking, at the houses. And I look over and I got so incredibly pissed because they blocked off the entrance to Forest Hill Park. Okay. from there. Not the total interest, but that was one of the interests. I mean, I remember when we was teenagers. I come home from college and whatnot. We go riding up that hill, into the park and riding through the park and the tennis courts and all of this type of stuff. Now I know I'm 53. You know, for those of you who in your 50s, you in your mind still feel maybe like, well, for years I felt like I was 25, but I don't feel like I'm 25 no more. But it's just like I don't feel like I'm old and just old. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I was like, when the fuck did they close that shit off? But and then looking around how bad it is, I got really angry because I felt like I said, you know what, I don't care what anybody says. And this is just nothing I've read and probably nothing I'm going to read. Okay. That I'd be privy to. Okay. I'm like, because I was talking to someone about it. I said, this shit, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And I know people are going to be watching me and think, well, yeah, what I'm about to say, of course. Like, this was planned. Okay. This was planned. Now, I was watching a video about East Cleveland, and there were people who were residents, which is like, one guy was like, we did this. Black people did this to this community. Okay. And for the longest, I felt that way. And I still do to an extent. I'm like, this was fucking planned. This was one, I did hear someone say at one point, this was years ago, that East Cleveland used to be one of the most prominent suburbs just in the country, period. Okay, like I remember on Fresh Prince of Shaker Heights, okay, was one. I remember on Fresh Prince, they even mentioned Shaker Heights. You remember Bill Cosby when he went on his rant about black people? He talked about Shaker Heights. Okay, that's here. Okay, I live in Shaker Heights. Okay, but it's like, there are parts, to Shaker Heights too. You literally have over on the other side of the tracks in Shaker Heights. Okay, but anyway, I felt like, how does it go from being one of the most prominent, wealthiest suburbs in the country to this? Absolute sheer destruction. How? All right. And I can hear people now. I can hear it now. You know how you know some things, but then sometimes it hits you. You know it. Like I can hear folks now. Well, this, that, and other. I'm like, yeah. I know all that. But then sometimes it just like fucking hits you. And then you really know it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this shit was fucking planned. And this is just all me. I'm like, from the moment they let the first black person in there to buy some property, this shit was planned. See, these people, I'm just gonna say rulers and powers and principalities, like I usually do. Their game is tight. Their shit is tight. They don't play. They mean what they say, and they say what the fuck they mean. I don't give a goddamn about how nice and sweet and laws they put. Okay, we'll let them pass the law so they can have some rights too. Goddamn. This shit is systematically. Oh, I know that you know that. Well, I know that we know this, but just stay with me. This shit is systematically planned out, not for a year or two, generations. And one may wonder, how could people plan something out for generations? If they die, then what makes them think the next generation is going through? Because that's they have a purpose. I'm talking about from their perspective. Whoever the powers, principal, whatever, they have a purpose. Well, people be, that was one of the questions I used to get a lot. Or readings. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my... These people, these powers, they don't have that question. They don't ask that question. They know what their purpose is. Their mamas and their daddies tell them their purpose. Freedom my ass. Okay. Pick your own. No. No. And then you receive your honors for carrying out the purpose, whether publicly or in secret hidden chambers. People be getting all these honors publicly, and we just be, the general public be looking like, oh, man, they did that, or they're this scholar, and they did that, and they wrote them books and all that. Okay, that's what you think. They don't care about what you think, or what your opinion is, or your morality that they fed you. You could care less about what you think ain't right. It ain't right. They don't have no question about what their purpose is. What's my purpose? What do you mean? Are you asking me what your career is? Or it should be? Or what you should do career-wise? You can get that check? Or think you affect a few people's lives? They know their purpose. And it ain't even about the money. Money is nothing to them. That's meaningless. It's only meaningful to those who don't have it. You understand what I'm saying? So money ain't got shit to do with it. They are honored for carrying out their purpose. You understand? Okay. This shit is generations, decades, centuries. Okay, you want to come in here? Okay. And we have to give you some fucking rights. And we done took this shit over. Okay. And we got the power and control. Okay. We have to make you think and feel and believe that you actually have some rights. Okay, you can get that little job over there. You can get them jobs now, and all of that. You can eat in them restaurants with us now, and we can all share the same toilet. Now, are you happy now? Remember, Martin said that. Are you happy now? And while we give you the little bit, little crumbs off of our table, I'm not talking about, some people may think I'm talking about just white people. I'm not. I'm talking about powers that be. Powers, rulers, principalities, spiritual wickedness. These folks that sit in, whatever they are, they sit in high places. It's not about the place, the suburb, or the table that you want to dying to sit at. Those are just maybe representations of confirmation. Those are representations of something greater. Okay, that what George Carlin say, this club that you ain't in it. He probably was. His family's bloodline. He telling you ain't in it. He said he wasn't in it. You ain't in it. He said we ain't in it. You are not in it. So while we give you your little crumbs, you think that's, I got rights now. I can get these degrees and sit at the table with them. You have that while we destroy your community and your homes and your families and your fucking mind. Okay. So I'm sure you've heard this. I was sitting there, I said, because the lady I was talking to about it, she said, yeah, all these drugs and whatnot. said, yeah, you know. And the dope boy, she said, I said, yeah, these are people that are sent in. Now, I know y'all done heard some of that. I know some of y'all done heard this when folks leaving, don't go. I know y'all done heard these things. Just like we talk about on this app. The agents is everywhere. Every fucking where. You just think they're just nobodies. Okay. And people have been talking about these things. I mean, I'm not saying anything that hasn't been spoken of before. I'm just saying it right now. Okay. These are stuff on grand scales, large scales. See, these things, when people be talking about something, they stole my inheritance, all that stuff. These are little things to them. Okay. You want your... Papa got to come in. Big Daddy got to come in. And teach you people how to treat each other. Teach you how to love your families and love your homes and give purpose and meaning to your lives. You want that little bit of money they stole from, because it ain't nothing to them. Trust. You want that shit, okay, we got to come in with the law and whatnot, and they don't have them problems. In general. Generally speaking. They got one purpose and one goal in mind. Now, they may approach it from different angles or philosophies or perspectives and whatnot. And they had a little squabbles and shit. But the bottom line is, this is our purpose. This is our goal. Oh, you want to come on in? Okay, come on in. And then we will plant things in your community like people, agents and whatnot with drugs that would they paying sagging down or whatever, however it looked when they first started coming in. Okay. Infect your mind, put the shit in your food in the neighborhood. Certain places you ain't gonna see no place else, but certain food places you ain't gonna see. There was one place, okay, Happy's fucking Pizza. Got every kind of food you can possibly think of in that motherfucker. When I saw them resurrect that shit I say resurrect? When I saw them build that shit up in East Cleveland, I said, ain't no way in fucking hell I would eat out of it. What the fuck is that? It good. I know it good. They got all kind of shit in it for it to be good. And for it to just eat away at your fucking brain. Not because it's burgers. Nothing wrong with a burger. It's just fucking ground beef. Literally. Ground cow. What is in the shit? Okay, so you all see me sitting here vaping. Okay. I smoke cigarettes. Nothing else. And I would smoke like 5 cigarettes a day. Okay. Every now and then, if I'm sitting around talking to somebody, you know, and I was talking to the people that I be talking about on this app when they would be around, sitting around talking, I might smoke some more. But in general, I smoke about 5 cigarettes a day. So I was buying singles. There was a place I used to go get some singles. Every time I smoked, I said, somebody, what is the fuck is this? My lips would be tingling, my tongue. And I said, this motherfucker's putting shit in me. Nobody who lives in the community. The man who owned it. You know how to bring the foreign people in. Bought all the little mom and pop. Either bought them or kicked the motherfuckers out and said, this is our shit now. Get to going, and you better keep your mouth shut the fuck up. Lest you and your family are no more. Okay, let's be for real. Because all of them, all the little mom and pop stores, little candy stores, the corner stores, and the gas stations, all of them Really? Needless to fucking say, that motherfucking place is closed the fuck down. And I'm not talking about anything like the law came in, somebody called the police. No. Putting shit in his fucking cigarettes to try to get people hooked on something, motherfucker. Every single time. So I wouldn't go there anymore. But not long after that, that shit was closed the fuck down. And it hasn't been open since. And I haven't been down there in years. I haven't lived there in years. It closed maybe, I don't know, about a year. It closed a good amount of time before I even moved from the area, which was in 2021. And it has not opened back up. Okay. And all of them was cousins and whatnot. Because I would talk to the people there. Oh, that one over there is my cousin. They always related. Okay. This shit is systematic. I looked, I said, well, all this shit was planned. They put all this shit to drugs and whatnot and plant the people there. Okay. And infect the minds of the youth. Okay. Play on their emotions, their traumas. Tell you because daddy ain't dead, oh, you got a bad life. Got to be, right? I got a whole book over here, Great Cosmic Wonder, where they talked about there was no such thing as this nuclear family thing that folks just think is the bee's knees, and how it got to be for you to come out healthy and whole, and these societies were thriving. Okay. I just haven't. I said before I was going to read out of it, but I just don't know where to begin with that book. Okay, for coming on YouTube. Okay, so I'm not saying that a man's role is not important. I'm not saying that at all. Okay, because the men did play a role in those societies as well. Just not the whole nuclear family thing that this Western world has taught us. It's got to be that way for people to be healthy and whole and mentally intact. Bullshit. Okay. That's about controlling money. The quote unquote individuality. Smaller homes equates to more slaves and more money. Communities, communal living, okay, is better for, can be better for economically so for the people, but not the powers that be. The smaller homes is better for them and more strain on the people. That's why you, okay, well, moving on, okay? So you infect the food. Okay. You know, they talk about the, where there's hardly any grocery stores or whatnot in the communities. What do they call it? Food deserts, okay? Or the grocery stores that are there. I remember there was one that we used to go to when I was little, okay? Regularly enough, okay? But I'm talking about this 70s here, okay? Then I just happened to go in there one day. I was much older. I was passing by. I needed something real quick. I said, oh, let me run in here real quick. You could smell the dead, rotten shit in there as soon as you walked in the door. But for people who may not have had transportation and whatnot, who want to carry big ass bags on the bus, okay, they might have had Uber and stuff back then. I don't remember, okay, because I don't know exactly when that shit got started. But anyway, it was the closest place to go. Okay, so you destroy the food source. Okay, you infect you put the agents in there, and I even heard recently about Um, I can't remember who I was listening to, and I can't remember what city this was in, but he was talking about how, what they would do is uh, park vans in those areas, and nobody go to the van. Of course, they break in, and what's in it? Uh, guns and drugs and all types of shit. Okay, just plant it there. Okay, y'all notice some of this stuff. Okay, um, so even if you are not necessarily a drug user, it's in the food, possibly. Okay, in the alcohol consumption, things that you mess with the people's minds, and okay, let me look up something real quick. You fuck the people's minds up, the youth, for damn sure. Okay. So that basically what ends up happening is, and there's so much more that goes into it, they implode in on themselves. Now, and then what you do, I cannot believe how many mayors have come through there. I stopped looking, and time after time after time, they're stealing the money from the community. So I remember when I was in high school, I think I was a junior or a senior in high school. My uncle, that who raised me, her brother, had a beauty salon right by, maybe it was right next door to it, or it might have been a block up from it, the City Hall, East Cleveland City Hall. And one night we were driving through there, and I was, kind of laying back like this, looking out the window, and I looked up and I saw the flag flying, and the flag was all torn up and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I said, well, I thought they were supposed to take the flags down at night. So I wrote the mayor, you know, and telling him what I saw and how it was all torn up and supposed to take it down at night. The flag is all, it's American flag, all torn up, this, that, and other. He actually, whoever it was, again, I was in high school, whoever they were, they wrote me back. I was surprised, okay? They wrote me back and thank me for the whatever, I can't remember, but they wrote me back. It was a positive letter, and I started paying attention. They was taking it down every night. I showed it to my teacher because, I'm in high school, oh, look what I did, I wrote the mayor and about the flag, and you should have seen the look of disappointment and disgust on her face. I don't know who that lady was. I don't know who people are. White woman. Why would you be disgusted about that? Now, if Sally did it, showed it to her, it would have been a different response. And possibly if it was another area. But bitch, don't you know what is the plan for that motherfucking area, bitch? Little Negro girl, going somewhere. Okay. But anyway, so in its natural state, I'm not equating people to animals. What I'm about to read. In its natural state, a pig is a highly intelligent, social, and clean omnivorous animal that primarily lives in forests and areas with dense cover and access to water. They live in matriarchal family groups called sounders. Okay. Cleanliness. Contrary to popular myth, pigs are very clean animals. They keep their sleeping and eating areas separate from their toilet areas. Okay. Pigs are highly social animals that form strong bonds with each other. They live in groups, generally led by an older female, consisting of her offspring and other related females. Okay. Adult males typically live alone. Okay. The female is called the sounder. The male is called the boar. Okay. I only wanted to read that because in its natural habitat, We think of pigs as dirty animals that wallow in the mud and blah blah blah. But in its natural habitat, that's not that's not naturally how a pig is. They're very clean animals, highly intelligent animals. Okay. But when it's not in its natural habitat, I remember hearing a while ago, it's almost like they lose their mind. Okay. So when I hear these things, because I used to feel the same way. Oh, well, we did this. Black people did this. No, black people did not do that. They did it, but they're not in their natural mind, not in their right mind. Every resource. And then they pay these people, these mayors and whatnot, okay, to do these things. You're not going to tell me that someone who grew up in the community, families invested in the community, they're generationally in the community, and you get an opportunity to lead the community, but yet you contribute to the destruction of the community. You're not going to tell me, hold on. Hello? Yes. I'm well. How are you? Good. Okay. Give me just a little bit. And is it something you need right away? Okay. Okay. Just give me maybe about an hour and I'll get right back to you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. So you're not going to tell me that. So why? Why would you do that as well? When you grew up in it, were invested in it, your family had a name in it, invested in it that strongly, where people know exactly, and you do the same fucking thing too. No, you're paid to do these things. See, that's what I'm saying. These powers, principalities, and so on and so forth, that be the way folks cry about money and calling people broke to insult them. Everybody's fucking broke if you're not part of those, what that man say, in that club. Everybody. You think that your little six figures is something? Really? Your little 45,000, your little cheap ass purses and clothes with these people's names on them and whatnot is something? No, everybody's fucking broke. If you ain't in that club. And like I said, when I did the one reading the one time, not this past April, might have been April of, I think it was April of last year. It might have even been the year before last. Well, there are powers, families, who are looking at people who we think are wealthy, like, for example, these Rockefellers and so on and so forth, and saying, looking at them, oh, you're just fucking scraping by. If you know their name, it ain't them. Now they say there's 13, and then they say it's 13 over them. If you know their names, it's not them. You better believe it. If you think that they care about you or me or whosoever, think again. They have their purpose. They're acting out their purpose. They're living their, they don't care nothing about, they watch these apps and people talk about all the great such and such has happened. I'm not saying it's not, but you think they don't have their shit tight and down pat? The game is tight. And it's this shit been mapped out for years, centuries against you and me and the rest of the world. They don't care nothing about people getting on here talking about I am the great this and I'm the great that. For whoever. They don't give a fuck. They're gone now. But the thing about it is they got a plan. Now I'm talking about this specific area. They got a plan. They're not just gonna, that shit ain't gonna just be like that. What it will be, I don't know, When it will happen, I don't know. I remember they used to talk about, they wanted to, there was always this rumor about Cleveland taking over East Cleveland. My aunt told me, on my dad's side, that she used to work in a law office downtown. Okay, and they had paperwork draft. This was, I don't even know if I was living at that point. It had shit drafted up about it that she read about it. Okay. Last I heard, that's a no-go. I don't know. Okay. But I'm just talking about one particular area. That's not going to stay that way. Like I passed the area today where they done tore down all the projects. And I was like, well, where did all the people go that lived in it? There was a lot of them. Where did they go? Because a few weeks ago, it was standing strong. And I passed it by there. I said I could have sworn I just passed through here a few weeks ago. And all the shit, just clean. Where did all the people go? You know how they be having these videos on here where it be these homeless areas where all these homeless, and all of a sudden people go there and everybody just gone. They just disappeared. Fucking vamoosed. Where the fuck did they go? I remember Bobby Hemming doing lectures about this, talking about that, and how, they would do these things in certain areas with projects where Black people were, okay, and then just one day, they're just all gone. All the people just gone. These things that people talk about are small. I ain't trying to sound like Miss Negative Nancy. Okay. Just the fucking truth. And then it's set up so tight for you to look at your own people and end up having Black fucking fatigue. Where, because sometimes I be looking at some of these women out here, some of these Black women out here, the way that they're acting and things that they're doing. I'm saying some, I'm not saying all, and some of the shit we see on the internet and whatnot on YouTube and the videos, and I'm like, this is not, what are these beings? Who are these? What are these beings? Where were they created? And who planted them in our communities to say that this is who and what we are? Because they look like a Black person. When did that shift? Well, it's all mental. No. See, these are plans written, executed, and thrown at you in times when you don't even fucking realize it and know it. And before you know it, folks are just eating it up, gobbling it. Yeah, that's it. Not realizing people who know their purpose, just executing their shit. Right on you. Right in your face. And then had a nerve to make a fucking movie about it or write a book about it or some shit like that and tell you this is what it is, motherfuckers. But you won't believe it. Them people that lived in that area, East Cleveland, they were willing to give it up. Okay, we give this shit up. Cause no, that ain't how. That's not just how Black people are. They just destroy it. That's just how they are. No, that's not just how they are. when they have built historically great civilizations. And given math and all the great intellectual shit and all the art and all of that shit. And no, that ain't just how black people are. What did he say? Bobby Hemmett, a Negro was a bad invention. Creation. Molding and shaping them into what we want them to be. I don't accept that. You know how these readers be talking about these people that be doing stuff to you and they want to try to write your narrative and who you are, but you don't accept that. You goddamn right, you don't accept that. I don't agree with what you are trying to make me be, what you want me to be in your pea brain. No, that ain't just how black people are. Yeah, I used to think, well, we don't have to do this. Black people don't have to do this. We don't have to do that. We don't have to. But we look at what we do. Look at what our people do. This, that, and the other. When I went to buy them single cigarettes from that store, I didn't ask nobody to put no chunks or little things or whatever, drugs in it. Thank God. I had sense enough to realize something is not right, with something's in this. This motherfucker is putting some kind of drug in these cigarettes. Yeah, for you to get hooked on something and to be searching for something and to go up in there to pay him to fuck you up and drug you out and cloud your fucking mind. Or the Foot Happy's pizza. But got everything in there from seafood to this, to that, to this. Well, what is this place? I just looked at it. The first time I saw it, I said, I see poison. Not because it's a burger and fucking fries or pizza. That don't equate to poison. What are you putting in that shit? How come when I go out to the white people's neighborhood, I don't see that shit? How come when I go out to the areas where people have more money, how come I don't see shit like that? Why come? How come when I go out to these places, they still have their little mom and pop places? How come I only see these corporate places in areas where you have more people of color? Whether it's suburban or not. How come? Why come when you have a concentration of people of color? But when I go out to these further out places, areas, why come they still have their little mom and pop shops with real fucking food? Why come they don't sell the single cigarette? I know it's illegal, but why come they don't sell them in mass quantities to the people? No, just like a pig in its natural habitat is a highly intelligent, clean animal. Ain't lost its fucking mind because this is a natural habitat. That is not how black people are. Black people had, if that's just how they are, then how did they have their what did they call the Black Wall Street and all of these other things here that was completely and utterly destroyed? I learned about the black community where Central Park used to be there and they wiped them out. If that's just how we are, and these things happen, some of these communities were built after slavery. But why come? If that's just how they are. And that's just what we do. No, it's not. And drugs destroy the mind. Alcohol, it destroys the mind. Even the COVID shit, some people that had this, I can't remember no more. I can never have. These things get in your. That's why some of these people who are doing this black magic witchcraft, a lot of them, drugs. They are on drugs. And their mind is clouded. They are on their alcohol, which is what they call it, liquor. Spirits, which it is. You ever had the spirit of alcohol talk to you? I have. And when I said, oh, I see why they call this shit spirits. No, thank you. What they call it, alcohol. What's the... And then you infect the mind of the young. Especially in the school system. Well, in the school system. Especially now. This thing with no consequences. Oh, really? No consequences. But in life, there's an if-then. No matter what. It ain't out in school, out of school, wherever. But if they ain't in the classroom, they ain't learning. They ain't learning in the motherfucking classroom. That's why they have to be sent out. They're causing a disturbance for themselves and for others. See, these are, and then people just, they watch this shit. You don't know who these motherfuckers are or what their agenda is, making these videos and teaching the bullshit. You just believe it. Just eat it up, eat it up, eat it up. And then the child leaves school, graduates, God only knows how, because they can barely read and write. And then they try to go out in the world and cannot function. I have heard stories because I work in the school system. Can't function. Can't do basic things. Basic shit. And when you finish, don't no judge and no police officer give a fuck about your IEP and all of this kind of stuff and your but and all of that kind of thing. And you're refusing to take responsibility and accountability because nobody ever taught you had to. And they beat you over the head and throw you up in the jail cell. Okay? And then create camps for you, which they've been doing. Put you in them fucking camps. Now, this is going to be good for them. They're going to learn here. Okay. And you never see them fucking again. Okay. The Third Reich all over again. That shit was planned. And not by the residents. And the people who were bought and sold. Yeah, I do it. Destroy a whole community. And they bought and sold more. I watched a movie last night with Lawrence Fishburne called Imprisonment. And he was a warden. I mean, he played a real slimy motherfucker. Okay. I used to really, I was like crazy in love with him. Okay. I thought he was so fine in his younger years. And he was setting this man up. Okay. And to watch how he was paying people to set this man up. And he accomplished what he set out to accomplish. And he was thrown in the jail cell and he was executed. Even though he fought back and everything, prisons fought back and everything, but he still was executed. Okay. And just to watch, to see that. This is, what's done to individuals, but this is shit that's done on large, mass scales as well. Okay. And I just, in a way, I almost kind of feel like, well, people know this shit. Okay. Sometimes we think people know things, and sometimes some people don't know, or they don't realize, or they don't recognize. Okay. Because so much information about out here, and there's so many of these things have already been said. People have written books on it, and they're probably TED talks, all types of shit. Okay, lectures and so on and so forth. Okay, yet it continues on, and it's just like I don't care. I don't care. It may sound crazy what I'm about to say. I do not care. Some of these people that have been thrown in our communities that look like in black communities that look like black people, I don't care. I'm like an engineer. They are not human. I don't know that is what is that. It's not even human. Fuck black, white, purple, green, whatever. It's not even human. The behavior, the reasoning, or the lack thereof. It's not. And it's so silly and laughable to watch the fighting over small things while your world burns down around you. You contribute to it. What are the small things you need? Something has been done to the mind of any fucking body who says it's okay to steal and destroy and lie on it, all of these types of things, people for their money or their essence and their life and their destiny. You don't have no fucking destiny. What the fuck are you talking about? And what I mean by that is the dream, the fantasy that these powers that be that have sold their little slaves. People have bought that shit. You think that shit is real. You really believe that shit is real. I remember I talked about this. My lady raised me, told me how my great-grandfather's bishop used to call the TV the one-eyed demon. Well, that shit didn't exist when he was growing up. And he was right, it is. And I was listening to some Jordan Maxwell, and they were talking about how with the TV, the history of it, where they made it to actually communicate with the other side, with entities. And that's what they made it for. And we watch it and whatnot, and and we allow these things. You talk about black magic and witchcraft, bitch. You don't know no fucking black magic and witchcraft. Like the person was bothering me all night. I finally decided to stop probably watching the live. The fuck? That ain't shit. What these people have done, these powers and rulers and principles, that's black magic. Or dark magic. Evil workings. That's what that is. Confirmation. You destroy whole communities, families, races of people, and then have them thinking they did it. You did it to yourself, even though we showed you that we did it to you, and we're doing it to you. That's black magic, bitch. They want to steal my destiny, bitch. You don't fucking have one, bitch. Not in this world realm. Because see, what you think it is you're going to be a great millionaire billionaire. Hell, you might be. But that's all you're thinking about. I'm going to be famous and rich. And I see it in that person. And it's going to be great for them. And they coming up on the, on the rough side of the mountain. And they going to be all that. And they going to be great. And everybody going to see them. And they ain't going to see me. I'm going to take it this, that, and the other. And they destroying whole fucking worlds right in your fucking face. And ain't done. Who knows how far they've planned out? And their offspring, that's their purpose. And they're going to continue on with their purpose. And just watch. Be sitting right next to you, right in your communities. Just watching. Living out their purpose. The destruction of you. This shit, this political shit, these be games these people play. These powers, principalities, rulers, etc. This just games. They know what they're going to do, what they ain't going to do. They all work together. We know that. But again, if you know their names, that ain't it. That ain't them. They may send people every now and then going down the hill. You show them something, teach them something, tell them something. You do this and you do that. You play that role and you play that role. This, that, and the other. You play the president or the other this or this country, whatever the fuck the prime minister, whatever it is. Oh, go ahead. What do we need to know? Strategic. You see them strategizing, strategic, and winning. With all the resources in their hands. What he said, what you gonna do? Oh shit. Let me put that there. Well, go ahead and do it. And the Four of Pentacles in reverse. The Nine of Swords in reverse. Queen of Cups in reverse. You know, something needs to be let go. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure what. Here, let me look up some stuff because I'm not sure. I got an idea. I'm not sure. And swap. I'm hearing a few things, but I'm not quite sure. I'm hearing her fear, idea of retribution, fear of letting go. Holding on to the idea or the ideas that things are going to be all right, that things are going to be just fine. Okay. It's like while they plot and pray or pray on you, the continuation, it has not ceased. Okay. And it will not. Okay. These energies here, okay, it is that's what I was saying. The whole idea of that ain't right. The moral virtue and all of that kind of stuff. They don't operate on that. These energies, whom whatever they don't operate on morality, okay, or what they fed you morality is. Okay. I'm here naked care less. Okay. They don't care about your ideas of what's right and what's wrong. Okay. They plot, they plan, okay, and they scheme, and they work. They're cold and bitter, okay, toward you and your ideas. And I'm hearing, or your ideals, and I'm hearing of wholeness, okay, what wholeness is, what you think completeness is. All right, let's see. Anything else here? Like that one is more so this winning at any cost. Absolutely. That's what they do. And they win at any fucking cost. Okay. And they will. This came out more so sideways, but that's that one I look at as strategizing. Okay. It's like these games here. Okay. You don't win. How can you win in a system that was set up and designed to destroy, to take, to rule over you? They designed it that way. Okay, and here we live up under it. You live under it. You don't win at the person. You don't win the game against the person who designed it. I'm not saying it's thoroughly impossible, but it is the whole the fantasy. Conflict. Okay, that card is conflict in this deck. Okay, and here they continue on with it. They move on here for a number of destruction here. Okay, got you locked down. Okay, no change. Okay, it's like lies here that you are being sold and told. Okay, based off of their system, and I'm hearing belief system, the system that they gave you to believe in. Come on now. System that they gave you to believe in. And you believe. Anything else? Not quite sure. Two of Cups. I'll hold it to the side. Okay, that's that Loki energy. See? Trickster. Tearing down, destroying, coming in. Treating those that are up under them. Rulers. If they rule somebody, right? It's children. Okay. Believing them to be like maybe nothing, less than. Okay. And I'm hearing you are nothing. Okay. You have no power. You are powerless against us. Okay. I'm hearing you cannot defeat. Okay. You cannot win. Here, the hand that came up here. Okay. And your motherfucking ass wanna bother me about bullshit. Where she going? What she do? Wake up. You wanna bother other people about nothing. And swear to God you got some fucking power. It's like, I feel like from these people's or powers perspective, like you always be, I'm not saying this is tried and true in the case, but always in a place of subservience, always in a place of serving them, their needs, their wants, their desires, okay? Who and what they are, like you, they will always have the power and the resources, so on and so forth, to do with it as they choose. And there are energies, I feel, and people that come in, okay, to speak these truths, okay. But at the same time, I'm hearing, but people don't want to hear. They don't want to believe, okay. The lie they've given, it tastes too good, okay. Itching ears, okay. Let me see. The phrase itching ears in the Bible refers to people who desire to hear what they want to hear rather than sound doctrine. Okay. This concept is found in 2 Timothy 4:3-4. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. They don't even want to hear the shit. So, sometimes I'll be sitting here, looking at the YouTube shorts and whatnot. I have some that I really like, and it's like, see, systematically, this shit is designed. What's the point of this shit? Okay. Got everybody, adults, acting like children. They get the prank. Ha! Okay. I'm just pointing things out. I'm not condemning. I'm pointing shit out. Acting like... they've given you something to occupy you. What do we call them? Distractions. To keep you like children. Games. Pranks. The TikTok dances and all of this type of thing. Okay. To keep you from seeing what's happening right in front of your face. Things that sound good. We're on the verge of this, and all of this is about to happen. Yet you have children who are graduating from high school who can barely read and write. No, that's not enlightenment. That's, like I said, when I saw those beings crushing the sun. Okay, and there's a verse about that. There's a scripture about that. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. I saw it last week. I said, I know the fuck I was talking about. Or I might have even said it. Maybe the week before last something. I might have talked about it already. I know the dream that was given. And here it is in the scriptures. I didn't even know it was. That's not a society going into an age of enlightenment when they can't read. Your youth. That's where the strength is, in the youth. The physical, the mental. And they can't read. I've heard of some kids don't even know how to spell their own fucking name. But you're being told constantly these feel-good messages. It's happening. No, it's not. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say, I just fucking said it. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to what? To say what their itching ears want to hear. It's what you want to hear. So you have teachers and gurus and all this kind of stuff on these apps. lying to you. And again, you don't know who these people are. I don't give a fuck who they tell you they are. You do not know who they are. Who are they? Who is that person? Really? You don't know. They will turn their ears away from the truth and turn aside to myths, feel good lies. While they continue on destroying whole communities, worlds, realms. Realms. You know, they talk about the creation of human beings. I'm not talking about the Bible story, but in a way, yeah. Let us create. Who's us? Okay. Talking about these demiurge and the Anunnaki and all of this kind of stuff. That shit ain't new. All of that engineering and stuff is not new. Okay. Working together, they got their purpose. They stay in line with their purpose. Generationally, their bloodlines. And don't none of them go to no read as them can't tell me my purpose. Not one. It's the sun here, upright. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. It's like this, oh, I had my glasses. Oh, there they are. They may shoot this down in like 3 minutes. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to read this from this perspective. This card here, this man here is coming out from this egg with this serpent, okay, around him, okay, over all the zodiac signs, okay. Looks like he is, you know, over all of them. Like I'm seeing this more so as some kind of a power here, power principality, okay, that be coming out from this egg, okay, this stairwell here behind him. It's like a ruler. I'm looking at it like a ruler over all things. I'm not talking about a benevolent God. Okay. I'm talking about rulers, powers, principalities that be, okay, that sit in high places. Okay. They worship the sun too. Okay. And I kind of feel like looking at this in reverse, like taking away all your resources. Okay, or controlling them all, ruling over them all. Okay, like I'm hearing like you can only come to us. Okay. Okay, for what it is that you need. Okay, for the life that it is that we design for you. This ain't about no President Trump and all. No, these are higher powers, higher forces. And this is their purpose, to bring this to you, to this world, to this realm. I'm not quite sure if any of these are relevant. Here we had the Empress upright, okay, which in a way, okay, Five of Pentacles, is that what that is? Yeah, in reverse, okay. And I got the Six of Swords upright, and I'm gonna end this in a minute. And the Princess of Cups upright. I really was just gonna read on what was the plan. What was they gonna do to the city, to East Cleveland, okay. I mean, like the same destructive forces that work against them work against you. Okay. I don't know. I saw this card twice, and I felt like it represented, okay, just for this reading, okay, the Divine Mother, the Great Mother, okay. I'm hearing like it is, okay. It represents something in this reading here. I do feel like there is, obviously, I would have to say that the now, I'm not the destructive forces, these powers, these principalities that be higher forces, okay, spiritual wickedness in high places. I do feel like I'm not getting an answer. I keep asking a question, but I'm not getting an answer. In terms of this card here representing, I feel like the great divine mother. This is not about no gender war type thing. Please, please. Okay. That's base level. I don't deal with that. I feel like it does have something to do with that though. Okay. But it's not, I can't say that it is a, it's, uh-oh, went out for a second. It's not a woman against man type of thing. That's not what this is. This is not in a way that humans look at things and understand things here. That they another thing they've thrown at us for more division, to keep people divided. Okay. Purposes of control, okay, feeding off of, okay, humanity, okay. But I feel like it's even more so than that, but I'm not quite sure. But I do feel like these two cards here, this Empress card, this Princess of Cups, and this Six of Swords with this Five of Pentacles in reverse, it has something to do with rejection, okay. Maybe the rejecting of the Divine Mother, of the Great Mother, okay. Whereas, okay, like I'm hearing like where she no longer, or she no longer rules supreme. Okay, I'm not saying. I'm saying in the minds of, it's a patriarchal system. Okay, and you have to understand, a patriarchy is not. It's not about. There is no such thing as a matriarchal anything in a patriarchal system. It's not about who physically runs and rules something. It is the mind, how do I tell the how people the state of mind that rules. You can, because I would hear people say, things about like where you have single mother households and being matriarchal. No, that's not matriarchal. Just because not in a patriarchal system. It's not about a man or men ruling the household. It is the way people think, the way people perceive the world. You could have these single parent women, mother households, and it still be very patriarchal. And it's a state of mind, okay, a system of beliefs, of how the world is perceived, okay, how the world is seen, worldview. It's not about your physical gender, whether you're male or female, and who's in charge. That's not what that is. That's not patriarchy or matriarchy. Let me look it up real quick. I'm gonna have to do a whole separate video on that. Okay, I'll have to do more research on that because it's just saying basic shit. Okay, and I want to delve deeper into what it truly is. Okay, you have women over something that still have a patriarchal worldview. Just because they're physically doing it doesn't mean it's matriarchal. It is a worldview, a system of beliefs. And I feel like this may have something to do with it. Okay, these cards that I've pulled. And maybe it is the blossoming of the beginnings of that system returning. I don't know if it will be completely matriarchal or if it will be more so a balance. Okay, that's coming into play. It's like she will no longer be rejected. Okay, now one time, okay, when I went on my journeys, okay, I think it was the very first one. I talked about this. Okay, I it's like I was in this huge room. It was completely dark. I saw a woman, okay, and it's like a gold chair. Okay, thank God I didn't tell nobody this story because they sure would have said it was them. They would have said, "Guess what happened when and that's what I saw." Okay, but anyway, all right. And she was chained. She was chained down, okay, to the chair. And I looked, and I saw a male figure, okay, behind her. Okay, not like being behind the chair, but on the side of the chair, but you know, not far from her. And I knew right then. I was like, "This is the Great Mother." Okay, that has been uh, uh, suppressed. Okay, damn near they tried to abolish. Okay, and get rid of, and well, I'll do that on another video. Okay, see, like here, this represents her. These all these men here leaving her behind. Okay. But she will no longer be suppressed, okay, and rejected. Okay. So as people say, well, this is what we're moving into. Okay. But we have to know what it is that is happening before us. And I'm telling you, damn sure better know. Like I said, the game is tight. Ain't no game, ain't no nobody had game greater than them. No, I. To destroy communities. See her pregnant? Life. To destroy communities is to destroy worlds. I feel like these are games, okay, no longer stuck here. But I feel like these are games that are played on, see how that devil is puppeteering those women. Okay, I feel like there is no, I took that down quick because it's got some bare-chested people. Is that what I was going to say? Magician card upright. Okay. Didn't I say it? Okay. They'll use every means, every resource, everything, okay, to destroy. Ain't no black magic better than theirs. None. But they call them kitchen magicians. Bothering people over small, minor things, nothing. Selling your soul and becoming a whole, completely different human being because you want some kind of status, money, fame. For real. But these are the, see, you're not It have nothing to do with your everyday person that you're dealing with, family, friends, and all that kind of stuff. We're playing these little games and whatnot, and they're so determined. Like this bitch is still determined, bothering me while I'm sitting here doing this. That's a mind gone, one gotten. Their game is tight. Let me see what will happen to that community. Let me see if I can pick up something from here. And return to sender, bitch. And shuffle. What will happen? Here we have the High Priestess upright. What is the plan here? Okay, we had the High Priestess come out. Okay. Here's, what is that? Pentacles, Four of Swords, Princess of Swords, the World. Let me see what I can pick up. I can say, ain't no black magic better than that. Okay. All right. You think they ain't practicing all this shit, spiritual shit, okay, on these communities? Of course they are. Okay. Of course they are. Shit. They're living out their purpose. Let me see. Okay. Something once again, I don't know if I will be able to pick up on it, but something once again, planned, contemplated, worked on. Okay. I'm not sure. It might be a minute, a while before any change takes place in that community. Here, let me see. Where's my pendulum? Yeah. As will there be a while before any change takes place in that community? I'm getting no, I'll show you. Will there be a while before any change takes place in that community? I'm talking about East Cleveland. I'm getting no. That's no for me. For my pendulum. And confirmation. Okay. That's why I'm looking at this world card in reverse. Okay. I feel like I could be wrong, just, but I'm feeling like there will be no, there's not going to be any kind of change there to take place anytime soon. I'm hearing like they're going to continue to destroy it. Okay. Anything else? What's the long term, if I can pick up? What is the long term plan? Two of Swords in reverse. The long term plan for it. Okay. Six of Cups upright. Okay. Eight of Wands upright. Anything else? Prince of Wands. Right. Out of Wands. Ace of Wands in reverse. Let me see before I keep going. Okay. Yeah. Continue to be in a powerless state. Okay. Or conflict, or continue with the conflict that's happening. Okay. Maybe it might even deteriorate, maybe faster, maybe more faster movement on the deterioration. Again, it's purposely. This is purposely planned out. Okay. There are people buying property up in East Cleveland, which I like to say non-black people. Okay. I'm sure there's some black people buying property, but there are others that are buying property through there. Okay. And, may not be generally announced. I just talk to people. Okay. Who know? Okay. So maybe a faster, swifter type of whatever, in whatever way. Okay. Deterioration. Okay. So they can move on it. Okay. And whatever it is they want to do. Maybe bring more conflict to the area. Okay. I'm saying to the area, within the area. Okay. To begin again. Okay. To rebuild there. But when, who knows? They know. Anything else? Okay. Chariot. And once again, the Magician. Mm-mm. Mm. Mm. I feel like again the faster deterioration, people being things being done within the community, more conflict within the community, almost like to break the will of the people. Okay, where you get to the place where you're so disheartened. Okay, like you can break a person's or a community their will. Okay. To take over. Okay. Utilize the place here. Utilize the space for their upbringing. Hold on. I just had a vision of something. I kind of feel that because I had a vision, it may become less, maybe a long term plan. Okay. May become less residential and more some kind of business center. Okay. And, that's all I can say. Because I just saw like just buildings, 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 but I'm not seeing too many residential like houses and stuff like that. So it might become like, would the word be epicenter? I don't know if that would be the correct word. Oh, maybe that's not right. That word I'm saying. Hmm. Okay. Well, it is saying something about the earth. Okay. Location on the earth or something like that. Location on the surface of the earth directly above where the earthquake starts. So, oh, okay. Synonyms. Okay. For epicenter include core, heart, hub, nexus, center, focal point. Okay. That's just what I had a vision of. Okay. Just buildings. Okay. Not like businesses. Other related words are capital, headquarters, command post, hotbed. I feel like maybe, I don't know when. Okay, and I'm not talking about anytime soon. It may not even be in my lifetime. Okay, I feel like it may okay, become some kind of center for business, as businesses, some kind of businesses, as opposed to residential suburb type place. I'm not saying they'll change the name of it. It may still be called East Cleveland. I got yes and no. The limit saying no. That may be part of the name, or they'll include it in the name in some kind of way, or whatever they will call the area. Some kind of center spot, core, or some kind of businesses, some kind of business. Maybe, I mean, technology of some sort, obviously. Okay. All right, that's all I have. All right. I didn't mean to go into all that extra, but for those who watch me, know when I get to talking, things come to me, and I just let it flow. It's a goddamn shame here, though. I'm talking about something that means something, and I have somebody sitting up here still throwing their magic at me. Okay. That's what I mean. It's sad. Okay. But nevertheless, all right. I hope that meant something to somebody. Just I thought it would be interesting. Don't know. Let hope. We'll see if they let the whole thing play or if they cut it off. All right. But nevertheless, you all have favor. You all be blessed. Peace.